All right, blessings, everyone. Okay, well, a lot of things happened, and this is why it took me a little while to get back to you guys. Um, let's just say that it was very explosive and very exciting. Now, I was brought to the towers, right? And I was looking at the eight-pointed star that was on the Guardian building and the eight uh, Guardian things there holding up the circle in Windsor. Remember I showed you that? Okay, so there was eight of those Guardians, and then there was the Guardian in Detroit with the eight-pointed star on top of the building. And so I remember Jonathan Kleck talking about the this Statue of Liberty, this goddess, this Roman goddess, the Statue of Liberty. And I remember him going into detail about it. So what I did is I went to Wikipedia, and then from there I went through other uh, information concerning the same thing, the same question. So I again I'm very assured that what I'm reading here is true. And my point with this here is the seven seas and continents. And this is what these points are on the crown that she wears. And when I looked at the seven seas and the continents, and I'm thinking, well, I was just brought to Labrador Sea. So I think there's something that I need to go back and take another look at what's going on and see what I could find. Because again, the pointing that star and having Canada right on top of that star, and then beside it with Labrador Sea, and then the people that when I looked into it, because I needed to find the fingerprint. I couldn't go with just having the peak on her crown and what it meant, but it was pointing to Labrador Sea for me to go back there. This is how I received this. Okay, so it says Declaration of Independence, and it's Roman numerals, and those numerals are 1776. Her crown has 7 points that represent the seven seas and continents, and some will say it is also for the rays. It's like the to the sun, something like that. Okay. So again, I'm now I feel like I'm pointed to go back to Labrador Sea. So I do, and I'm trying now at this point to look for a fingerprint to see what is going on here and why I'm there, because I'm really starting to believe that the dogs, the labs that I had taken the picture of the lab in the cloud, and then there was the lab that I Spy, Christopher Trailer, had pulled out in the star. So I'm going to get to all of that. I'm just saying that now I've got to go back to Labrador Sea. Okay? And so we're going to do that. Okay. Okay. So here at Labrador Sea, I'm just going to read it out first, and then I'm going to go over it, okay? Okay, so the Paleo Eskimos, about 2100 BCE, a new people, Paleo Eskimos moved into northern Labrador, perhaps from Greenland or the high Arctics. Pablo Leo Eskimos literally means old Eskimo. These people were culturally different from the Amerindians. The first group of Paleo Eskimos, known as pre-Dorset, tended to live in sheltered inner areas along the North Labrador coast. This group seems to have experienced a population decline starting around 1500 BCE. Okay, by 800 BCE, a new group called the Grosswater Paleo Eskimos was living at various sites throughout our province. They resided here until about 100 BCE in Labrador and 100 CE in Newfoundland. About 500 BC, BC, a new culture. The Dorset Paleo Eskimos arrived in Labrador from the north. At the beginning of the Common Era, Dorset sites was disputed along the entire Labrador coast on the island of Newfoundland. By 900 CE, the Dorsets had disappeared from the island of Newfoundland, and by 1300 CE had mostly disappeared from Labrador. As with the early American Indians, we can only hypothesize why the different groups disappeared. So this was, again, this reassured me that, okay, this is why I went back to the Ubin period and I took a look and got to understand a little bit more about Babylon and Nimrod and the First Kingdom, okay? All right, so here, again, looking for that fingerprint, right? Because I'm now looking and I'm making that connection that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I mean, this was more of a place than anything else that I was to understand when I took that picture of the dog in the cloud in 2015. This one here that you see barely. But yeah, okay, so again, I'm hearing invisible waters, which is clouds, making the connection. So it was really powerful for me that I looked at this as a destination, that I'm right where I'm supposed to be here, you know. Okay, so I'm, again, that fingerprint, is there any more? What's going on? I want to, so let's just continue. The Labrador Sea is a major source of the northern Atlantic deep water, a cold water mass that flows at great depth along the western edge of northern Atlantic, spreading out to form the largest identifiable water mass in the world ocean. Strictly speaking, a sea is a body of water, generally a division of the world ocean, partly or fully enclosed by land. The word sea can also be used for many smaller bodies of seawater, such as the North Sea of the Red Sea. There is no sharp distinction between seas and ocean, though generally seas are smaller and are often partly marginal seas or wholly as inland seas bordered by land. Okay. The Labrador Current is a cold current in the North Atlantic Ocean which flows from the Atlantic south along the coast of Labrador, passing around Newfoundland, continuing south along the east coast of Canada near Nova Scotia. Near Nova Scotia, this cold water current meets the warm northward moving Gulf Stream. The combination these two currents produces heavy fog and has also created one of the richest fishing grounds in the world. So when I looked and I saw this, I knew that this was definitely where I should be looking. Okay, so when I'm doing this and as I'm going along, I'm thinking, I don't know what am I going to be doing here? What is this? And so I decided what I'm going to do is I'll just do it in order. I took the picture of the dog in 2015 in the cloud. Okay. So then, many years later, of course, then there was I Spy, Christopher Trailer, who was playing around with one of the stars, and he pulled out this white lab. And again, I'm looking at this. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I'm seeing the lab. I know this is important because I'm really looking at the dog in the cloud as being a lab. It's just very striking for me that it's a lab. And so I'm looking at number 2. I'm looking at this lab. So let me just go walk you through that, okay? And there's going to be some interesting things here for you also. I hope that you will agree. But yeah, here we go. Okay, so here's lab number 2. All right. Now, this again, this was uncovered by Christopher Trailer, I Spy, and you can see right here, here's the lab, and there's the star. This is the red giant here. I got the star here also, okay, right here. Okay, so, and then this is the astrology chart here, okay, so it's the shape of a dog and it's got a cap. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm, again, just going to read all of this out, the information that I received and what I'm understanding of all of this. Okay, so here was the second lab, and I stood up again. I didn't know what to do with it at first. I was just amazed again that this was something. Okay, so here we go. This is what I found out about the star. This object is in fact a white dwarf star that steadily burns at a relatively cool temperature and high variable red giant. As they orbit each other, the white dwarf pulls material from the red giant onto its surface. The first Hubble Space Telescope (HST) image of a recent nova, R Aquarity, Aquarii, I believe. This HST image, which was taken pre-corrective lens, shows the inner core of the R Aquarii resulted into two very bright knots. The faint circular structure about the core is due to the fog created by the spectral aberration of the HST primary. The two knots which appear are dark spots in the picture due to saturation, but likely harbor the double system. Also seen as a familiarity figures emanating from the core. So again, we see the core, but here we have fog. And then when I thought of the clouds, and it was, wow, this is in, invisible waters. This is a connection. It's like dotting an I, Okay, so I'm looking at all of this and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm making a connection. This is definitely connected, okay? And I'm going to read here. The supernova may also result from mass transfer onto a white dwarf from a star companion in a double star system. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this, but the Chandra star limit is suppressed from the infalling matter. The absolute luminous of the latter type is related to the properties of its light curve, so that there is a supernova that these supernova can be used to establish the distance to other galaxies, which I would call the Rainbow Bridge kind of thing going on here. Okay. Now this name comes from the Chadurasis, whatever, comes from the name of an incarnation of the Hindu god Shiva. Again, we're talking about the guardian, right? Couldn't believe this. Unreal. So the Shiva, in this form, he married the goddess Pravita, whatever. You're not supposed to say their names anyway. Okay. The names came from the Sanskrit word, and then this means moon. Okay, this word just means moon, crest, or crown. Yeah. Moon. Okay, and at least thou lift up thy eyes unto heaven, and when thou see the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided into all nations under the whole heaven. But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. So we definitely have a connection, right? So this would be the second lab that's really concerning and where I stood up, and now I'm understanding it, okay? And I'm understanding it also because I went back to the beginning, all right? So now we're going to go, and I want to show you something that I just picked up yesterday. It was late last night because I was really wrapping things up. I really wanted to push this out, and so it was late last night, and I put this together. It was really quick, but I thought it was important also to show, right? So here we go. Okay, this is just a teaser because this is having a lot to do with the night under the stars that I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to put this forward because this just all came together, and I'm just going to throw it in and just do a little bit of a teaser here of where I'm going with this. So again, if you're looking at it, I know it's a little difficult to see it here, but if you wanted to punch it in Google, you would see it yourself. And what we're looking at here is a star, and this was the night of the stars, and this is where he's talking about how God's vengeance and everything. So you can see this. This is that huge cross. This is what we're looking at right here. Okay, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wait, this. He's making a big thing about this. There's a lot of things going on here that are not being said, and things are coming in real quick, So I'm looking at this. I find out that this is a dog star. Okay, a dog star. Now, Sirius, also called the Alpha Canis Majoris, or the dog star, brightest star in the night sky, with a apparent visual magnitude of 1.46. It's a binary star. It's a constellation Canis or whatever. Okay. Wow. Really? Okay. And here I got this. Then the well-known binary star Sirius, seen here in a Hubble photograph 2000 from 2005, with Sirius A. Now Sirius A is the middle of is the center. Okay, so we got Sirius A and white dwarf. Now Sirius B is down here to the left bottom from it, right here. And here I'm looking at, this is the back of Jonathan Kleck's, what do you call it? One of his caps. And it's you can't see it here, but it's a B positive. No, I'm not kidding. B positive. P-O-S, positive. B positive. And here they're looking at Sirius B to the left, the bottom of it here. Okay, this is, and if you look, it's right here. Okay, this would be the B right here. But I just wanted to show that, B positive. Up on the top here, you can see that there's a video he has, and this video, right at the very, very beginning, he says, "Yo, dog, yo." And I don't know if it's an inside joke or an inside thing, but it just fit with everything else that I'm looking at, concerning him with the dogs. But this here, it was started it off with "Yo, dog, yo," and it just didn't fit. Okay, so I just threw that in there. Okay, so here we are talking about the red giant. The red giant is the same one that I Spy, that Christopher trailer showed us with the dog. Okay, that is the red giant. Is a luminous great star of a low and terminated mass. Okay, roughly 0.3 to 8 solar masses in a late phase of the stellar. Okay, I'm not going to read all of that. That's too technical. The outer atmosphere is inflated. Surface temperature is 5,000 K, okay, or lower. The appearance of the red giant is from yellow, white to reddish orange, including the spectral types K and M, sometimes G, but also class S stars and most carbon stars. Okay. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm coming back to this, but here we have the G right here. He was building, he was fixing up one of the buildings for the night under the stars, and he kept talking about this G. Remember that? You know, up in the ceiling, the G. And here you've got the G right here on the building here. So I found this very interesting, to say the least. It was very interesting. This is the same thing that he was really excited about the night under the stars, right here, where he says the big X with the eye in the middle, and then it turned into an eye. Remember that? Okay, well, it's called the dog star. This is worshiping here. Okay, it's like, you know, people believing that the Virgin Mary is the Virgin Mary, when in reality the Virgin Mary is actually Mary Magdalene. No different. So I just put that together. Okay, I forgot to read this, sorry. And least thou lift up, did I read that? And least thou lift up thy eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon. Oh yeah, I did that. Okay, yeah. Up here, for without our dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Yes, Brother Nolan, I just wanted to throw this in real quick before I go to Lab 3. Okay, and this, you know, look at this, the way she's got, your mom's got it all set up on the table there. Well, this is what they call a maze, like a maze that was outside the castle kind of thing. So nobody, they would have a hard time getting into the kingdom. It says Babylon, also known as the Babel, dated back over 3,000 years. The world's first known civil code was written here. Okay, but here we are. This is the same thing here. And this was a maze so that the enemies would have a hard time getting in. Yeah. I thought that was something. Okay, what does it say? Okay, the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar's, I can't, 2, okay, 605 to 562 BC, placed a dangerous labyrinth which remains one of the most difficult in the world around his palace in Babylon as a kind of protection to make it difficult to sneak in from the outside. And like I said, it was just cute the way this one all went down, because here you had the scroll right here with Iraq, and this is exactly where I've been, you know, in the last month or so. I've been here, and again, here you know, you show me this, and it was just a tear of reassurance, you know. It's like, okay, because I'm really stepping out here. I'm, oh yeah, this is so, you know, exciting. Okay. Okay, so here's dog number 3. Okay, now this goes right into the ending of my part 2, and a lot of what Karen has experienced here, with the, you know, screaming out that, you know, it was God who healed her, and it was about Jonathan, you know, taking away her blessing. So this is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to show a video here. Uh, Again, I'm still shaking my head as I'm walking through this again, and I'm now putting pictures together, and it's you know, it's, yeah, it's all coming together. Okay, so here, the three the third lab comes from Jean Revel. Okay. Okay, so now here's the Leviathan. This is what, Karen had sent me right after, she had seen the video and explained to me what it meant, well, not explained, but just said it was the Leviathan. And then I went into it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this and I'm going to stop because I really feel that number 1 and 2 of the labs, they were more supernatural, and it was an intervention here that put these two together, put myself also along with, uh, Christopher Tyler, I'm sorry. And so I really believe that at this point I'm going to stop and I'm going to read Isaiah 27 because I think this applies with the two dogs, the two, uh, the intervention that took place here. And I believe, this would be, would I say divine? Well, let's just read first and see. Isaiah 27. In that day the Lord with his sore and great strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. I the Lord do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set this briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them, I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. Hath he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him in measure? When it shooteth forth, thou wilt debate with it. He stayeth his rough wind in the day of the east wind. By this therefore shall thy iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he maketh all the stones of the altar as a chalk stone that are beaten in sunder, the groves and images shall not stand up. Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire. For it is the people of no understanding. Therefore he that maketh them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O children of Israel. Isaiah 27, 1 through 12. And I really wish I could find that tape, because when right at the top where it had Canada, he had Egypt, and he had evil or wicked or evil Egypt, and I didn't get a chance to go back. Well, I went back to the video and the video was gone. It was taken down. It was taken down. I mean, I saw it. I knew where it was. I went back once I found out where it was, and I took a look to find out where this Labrador Sea was. And then I went back to the video. The video was taken down. The channel was down, and it was like it was crashed. Boom, And then I'm trying. Well, how do I do this? Like, I know this is it's there. The information is there, so I had to do some searching for that, so yeah. So thank you, Karen. I mean, that was absolutely amazing because I knew that this was important, and now, dealing with the sea and the this red giant, and finding out all about the guardian and all of it, is right here, all of it, and so okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go now to lab number 3, and this is going to take us a little ways, okay? But again, thank you, Karen, for this. Okay, this is something I did a little while back, and I just thought of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end this part of it with the waters here, okay? I mean the first 2 dogs here, okay, the 2. All right, okay. As such, the waters belonged in the heavens because the heavens contained waters, and the Spirit of God was over the waters, or over the heavens, and over the earth, for that matter. These were all created in beginning. And if this is not the beginning, then it can't be called the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Genesis 1:2. Biblically, cosmology does not look like the Gnostic Big Bang, empty, vast, expanding vacuum space hypothesis. If this is what you have in mind, then you cannot visualize what is being said. The fact is that God created the heavens, plural, in so that when the waters were made, when the heavens were made. In biblical cosmology, the heavens were made of water, hence waters, also plural, is incorporated in the word heavens. The heavens contained the waters, therefore the waters could not be a separate, uncreated, pre-existing entity on their own. Rather, when the heavens were created, the waters, by necessity, were created as the heavens contained waters. Neat, huh? All right. Okay, so here's lab number 3, and lab number 3 is right there with Gene Revel. So again, now with the reassurance, knowing that when I saw this lab that it was right where I was supposed to be, it was a place that I was to be standing, and that's exactly where I was when I saw this lab. Now, what I want to do here is I want to make a connection because I feel that there's more to it that meets the eye concerning Jonathan Kleck and Canada. Now, last year I did a video on this, so I'm going to play this out. Okay, so just to remind you that I'm looking into Ottawa. I'm looking into a lot of things are coming up about the Prime Minister. Okay, so again, I just want to play this video out and explain it as I go along. So here we go. Again, lab number 3. Okay, so this is Prime Minister Trudeau. This is what I was focusing in on with the lawlessness.
Regardless of the fact that we are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that wrong, we're still going to go ahead and do it. It's basically a loophole that allows a majority to override fundamental rights of a minority. We are attacking your fundamental rights or limiting your fundamental rights, and the Charter says that wrong. We're still going to go ahead and do it. Fear is a dangerous thing. Once stoked, whether by a judge from the bench or a prime minister with a dog whistle, there is no way to predict where it will end. These are troubling times. Across Canada, and especially in my home province, Canadians are being encouraged by their government to be fearful of one another. For me, it is both unconscionable and a real threat to Canadian liberty. Or a prime minister with a dog whistle. There is no way to predict where it will end.
Here we have the birds, and he has his dog tag. Okay, I know that he's been wearing a dog tag for a long time now, but again, that speech was in 2015. Trudeau's speech was 2015. Okay, so Jonathan Kleck uploads this March 1st, 2022, with the first time you start seeing the birds on the board here and with his dog tag. And then with the re-upload February 22nd, 2022 by Prime Minister here, which was the original speech was 2015, talking about the dog whistle. Okay, so it's re-uploaded, right? And then all of a sudden, wham, there it is. After everything about the ark and the night under the stars, what do you see? You see the huge board, same board with all the birds on it, and he's talking about a dog and finding a place for this dog, right? You know, I gotta say that it was like it was foretold here with even, Gene just dressed up as a lawyer right here, in one of his pics. I mean, again, this is where it all happened, with the Malibu, the word being given. It all started right here with Gene Revel. Because it was here, I got some more time. I'm just gonna say that when I was watching all of this and looking into the lawlessness of all of this, and I was pulled to look towards Gene's video, I never noticed the lab right away. I mean, now I noticed at the beginning was that I believed that Gene was right concerning Jonathan Kleck, that why was Jonathan so forceful in what he was saying to be true, knowing full well it was a lie? It was almost as though he was, side blinded or something. But I knew there was something really going on here, and this is why I needed to go back and look again. So when I went over to look at this, I came back and I started looking at Pat King. Now, Pat King, he was more of the captain concerning everybody here with the Freedom Convoy. And when I saw him and then I find out that he's an amputee, I thought, wow, okay, this maybe, I should be sitting up for this because I just watched Gene's video and it was about an amputee. And then 2 weeks later, my daughter gets a phone call and they're going to do the surgery to amputate her foot. So now I'm really sitting up. Now I'm really paying attention to what's going on and feel connected to what's happening here. So when just really quick, when Pat King is arrested, here he is sitting in court, and what is he wearing but Odin? Okay, and now I'll be getting into a lot more, but I'm just running out of time right now. Okay. Okay, and here's what I want to read here. Okay, for Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into our own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
Yo, dog, yo. So, yo, dog, yo. So, those are the shipping containers from the backyard.
So there's no real rhyme or reason why he says this, as far as what I can see in here.
Yo, dog, yo. So, those are the shipping containers from the backyard. Let's see. I'll give you. Here's the woods.
I'm just going to say interesting. All right, till next time. No fear, be love, and give hope.